Spoonie. And like I said before we got off, we might have us one, might have us two special guests. And lo and behold, look what we have. Not one, but two special guests. We got Bluff City Cowboys. We got your boy Sid in the building. Fellas, how's it going? How's it hanging? How are y'all doing? Great show tonight, Sid. I saw you with Ruth the Truth and Jay Tuck as well.
Yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. I'm just sorry, guys. I'm eating because I'm actually back in the gym because I lost a lot of muscle mass and I'm actually, anyways, it's killing me. I went to the gym and I feel like a weakling, so I'm trying to get those carbs in and do what I got to do to get my weight back. But with that being said, man, thanks for having me on. Bluff City, thanks for having me on last week. You, how do I say it? You stubbed me last week, bro.
What do you mean?
You stubbed me because there was a lot of topics that I don't follow defense. And I know God knows I should. I'm an offensive guy. You know?
Okay.
All day, all night, I'll talk offense. But ask me about defense, you know, I even played as a wide receiver. I was an offensive coach. So it's not something I ever looked at. So you stubbed me last week, but it's good because I pulled up my big boy socks and I'm studying.
Okay. Hey, there you go. A little challenge.
I'm glad I was able to teach you something. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, also you don't follow the college game like I do either. So a lot of stuff I was talking about, I was hitting you with a lot of how this guy looked at this school and the traits that he showed. So stuff like that you wouldn't know if you didn't really watch him.
No ifs or buts. I saw there was a little bit of a lag from the time I went live to when it came on here. Again, thank you for tuning in, Cowboys Nation Star King affiliates, into the after show party with your guy Nick Spoonie. And of course, we got a couple of special guests and VIPs, Bluff City Cowboys in the building. Your boy Sid's in the building. And he's just getting his eat on to get his carbs back up, as he was talking about. If you're here, sub, obviously, get it a share. Let's build it up. We're going to have a good time here. Talk about these camp notes, kind of get back into some of these things that's going on. And let me get y'all's take real quick. I know we talked about on our show, Sid. I know you talked about on your show, Bluff. I'm sure you did as well. Your overall prevailing thoughts on the situation as it pertains to Gerald McCoy and how it was handled. How do you feel about it, Bluff?
First of all, you can tell Stephen Jones is running things behind the scenes. I don't care what people say. This is not a Jerry Jones move. I've never seen a move like this made before. Even if a guy's contract says you can get out of it, Jerry Jones wouldn't get out of it. I can remember back when a guy killed a man and he still kept him on the roster and paid him his salary that year. So to see something like this, it lets me know the front office power is shifting.
Wait.
Go ahead,
so Jay Tuck brought something up that made a lot of sense earlier. Gerald McCoy went out a couple months back. You know what he did? And he called out Jerry Jones and said, Jerry Jones, why haven't you spoken up about the Black Lives Matter situation? So do you not think that Jerry Jones was a little upset about that? And then by what happened today, he saw that as a new opportunity to be like, and I agree with Jay. After speaking to him on the show, I was like, man, I completely forgot about that. That makes sense.
I'll dispute that.
Okay.
I'm going to dispute that because no matter what, they could have saved the money and cut him anyways. If it was really that deep, they could have cut him immediately, took that money, went and got somebody else. They didn't.
But now he has an opportunity to. Now he's injured. Why am I going to use him? Peace out.
But I mean, here's the thing. That was already, it was a clause that was in the contract.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why they went ahead and enacted it. I mean, I don't know. To me, look, I'll say it this way. I know a lot of Cowboys fans said, man, I wish we would act and operate how the Patriots do. Then as soon as we operate how the Patriots do, Cowboys Nation's like, oh my God, they were so unfair. Go ahead, Spoon. What you think?
Well, this is exactly what I said earlier at the show, that people, you're going to have media and people trying to and bring the conspiracy that he got cut because of his comments. And again, it wasn't bad comment. He was just like, we would like to hear from the man Jerry Jones. If anything, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm like, damn, they still think about me. I'm the man out there. Other than that, what does it do for the Cowboys to hold on to a contract? You went onto a roster spot. They pointed out that they spoke about this quad. It was in the contract. So basically, it was an issue long before.
Right.
So what do? Instead of you hold on to him, you put him back on the shelf. Listen, you're not with us this year, but next year, if you get yourself better, trust me, you'll be on this roster.
You think he'll be back next year?
I think it depends. It all really depends. It all depends on what the young guys do. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I don't think this has anything to do with for my opinion, his comment is basically it was brought out today that he had a quad injury, something with the quad before they had their contract talk, and that was in the contract. So once he heard it, they let him go. It's business. It's strong business. This is something that we used to like what Bluff said, what Jerry Jones would do.
And of course,
he would keep him. Steven is not playing that.
Right. And of course, I mean, they had to sign a guy today, right? They had to sign a tackle today, and they gave him a 2-year deal, right? So they got some money back, signed a guy, made a shrewd business move, if you will. Now, both of them are saying the same things. Hey, we'd love to have him back. He would love to be back. Will he be back? I mean, I think it's under 50% chance he's going to be back, unless Hill, Gallimore completely just wet the bed. I don't think he's going to be back, but there's always opportunity for him to be back. And again, in the language itself, he knew it was an issue. Now we know why. I think what nobody talks about is this. He dropped a bunch of weight, remember? It was getting in better shape and stuff. Probably a lot of that was due to the fact he knew the knee and the quad was not good, so I don't want to carry as much weight and put as much torque on this quad to get through the season because we know it's an issue. And then, it's an unfortunate thing because I hear some people, I saw a lot of people say, oh, it was going to go either way. I don't think so because as a defensive tackle, you're never really going back and trying to pad and block people. You're always kind of coming forward. It was just the perfect balance of, hey, I'm running a drill. Guy stepped on my foot and shoved me at the same time. Boom, and it went. It was a freak kind of accident.
I didn't see that step. I didn't see that step on the foot. I saw him.
Oh, it's on there. Yeah.
On the foot.
Yeah. Go to Stargame. Go to the Stargame page. Go to the video, and you'll see his foot. He steps on the foot, and then he gives him the shove, and then that's whenever it goes. Yeah. So, I mean, the idea of what he said or did. I mean, Jerry had told y'all. Jerry's about grace, man. Grace.
Almost like I should have been taking
shots.
Grace.
He gracefully paid him $3 million for 3 practices and gracefully said, hey, we got to sign somebody else and bring somebody else in. I think it's easy in Cowboys Nation to make it more than what it really is. I just think, hey, it's a smart business move. It's a change from the old guard to the new guard. So we think there's something more to it because there's, it's not a normal type move that we used to do. Go ahead, Bluff.
Now, I was just going to say, if this was like a, who was the player that got cut? Lucky Whitehead situation where somebody did something stupid and you just asked them.
Right.
If it was this type of situation, I'd be like, okay, you may have a point. But the fact that the contract specifically states the issue that came about, that lets me know this was a preemptive strike. This was already kind of predetermined that we have concerns about this. And if it happens, you're not going to get paid. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. They all went.
We got $3 million.
Right. And for a guy of his caliber, maybe that's why we got such a good deal for him. And I told everybody off the rip as well. When we signed him and I looked at when the deal broke down, I said, guys, this is a 1-year deal. This isn't a 2-year. I understand it says 2 years on paper, but the way that this contract was built, it was a 1-year deal is what it was. And as soon as he got hurt, it was like, oh, hey, it's time to move on. Let's put some money back on the cap in case we got to make another move because, hey, look, we know it's football. We know somebody eventually is going to get hurt. We need money to be flexible here to move forward.
Who do you guys think's filling his spot?
I think it's going to be. I mean, Crawford's natural position is the 3 tech.
Yeah.
Now I know he's got to work his body and stuff. But I think. I mean, flip a coin. I think it's. I think it's him, Gallimore, and Hill got a chance to walk through that door.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Gallimore and Hill for sure.
For me, Gallimore is a beast physically.
Yeah,
of course. He's a Canadian.
When you have a veteran at left end, 1 tech, and right end, I think he's talented enough that if you put a young beast out there, he has enough surrounding him where if he does make mistakes, they won't be game costing mistakes. If it was last year, I'd be concerned. But this year, I think we got enough around him
Right.
that he can come in and contribute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go round table. Let's go round table here. I'll start with I'm gonna go clockwise. All right. We know the three that's going to be in the contention, but let's go ahead and put a little something on the line. Who's going to be the guy opening up at the 3 technique as a starter? Spoon, who you taking? Who's your lead horse?
I think Gallimore.
The Gallimore? Sid, who you got?
I have.
Going with the hometown boy?
I think yeah, of course.
Yeah. Gallimore.
Got to.
Bluff City, who you got?
Canadian Bulldozer.
Okay.
All day.
Okay. I mean, also up there, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with the other Canadian guy. I'm gonna go with Crawford. I think again, I think it's his natural position. Yeah. They're gonna trust him. We know that the vets are getting more work now than the young guys because it's the new system and everything. Yeah. They want them caught up to it. I'm going Crawford.
But you see,
now I think it's gonna be rotation now, and that's the thing about this whole line. I think it's gonna be rotational, period. But I think when you trot out there the first line defense, I think it'll be Crawford.
So Bluff called out. I mean, J Tuck called out Bluff City earlier on my stream because
what?
Bluff, you had said that it's time for the Cowboys to cut Crawford.
No, what I said was
you said that you can see that move happening.
If he was the third defensive end, that was too much money to pay him. I will say that 1,000 times. That's what I say.
But imagine we would have cut him.
Yeah, I'm glad they did, and I'd say I was wrong on that one. I don't have a problem saying.
The screwdriver is so good right now. Go right ahead.
It's on tape, so I got it's on tape, so I got to admit to it.
but at the end of the day, I think a lot of Cowboys fans, even the cut Crawford, take a pay cut because you want to get that talent in there. We have the depth. I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I think losing Jerry McCoy is it's like
yeah.
But I don't think it's the end of the world. We have a good veteran Crawford there, and we have good depth. But I think once the roster was set, listen, I'm with Bluff. He's making too much money for his position, but it took a guy to get hurt. Now they still may want to ask him for a pay cut, depending on if they make another move or not. Probably not. Last year his deal, he'll be a free agent next year. He'll be this is a good veteran check, in the beginning, why not? If you have a Jerry McCoy here and he's not even the starter, but he's making $10 million to be a backup. That's a lot of money.
It's like, no. I mean, Crawford's making around like 8. It's somewhere around 8.
It's 8.
A lot of money still.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I mean, hey, make sure you hit the sub button. Make sure you go ahead and share it. Let's build it up here. We're about 5-6 deep right now. Let's get some more people in here. By all means, guys, y'all go and give it a share too. Build some more people up. Here's the thing, as it pertains to that, and here's why I always thought, and I'm going to kind of go against what Bluff had said beforehand, was why he was never going to leave, because it was the versatility that he brought. We know he's not going to be a blitzer off the edge, but he's a good run stopper off the edge, and then he can slide inside and give you those things. And he's been the consummate professional, and he's always done whatever. He got paid for what he did at 3 Tech. It wasn't his fault they decided to move his ass all the way around. Now, are there concerns with his hip? Sure. There has to be some concerns there coming off of hip surgery. So far, so good. But, again, he's the guy that can come in here and do what he does and what he means to the locker room, as well. But uniquely, this Cowboys team is able, and I spoke about this on our show before we get to the after party. This team is uniquely able to lose a Gerald McCoy, even though a little long in the tooth, right? But obviously would have been the best defensive tackle we had last year, starting, to actually absorb this kind of loss on the line and not be like, oh my God, the sky's falling. Now, to pivot off of that and to help sit out here maybe a little bit with some of this defensive terminology, I saw Cowboys Nation on Twitter especially just throw it up. Oh, go get Snacks. Go get Snacks. Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Snacks is a 1 Tech. Mm-hmm. So 1 Tech. He is Dontario Poe. So either he starts or Poe starts, or vice versa. Neither one of those guys are a 3 Tech that help this defense. Period. So get Snacks out of here. For those that think that Gerald McCoy left and Snacks is going to be that guy, no, he's a one tech, true one tech, and he's not coming in here. I just want to be clear so the Cowboys Nation understands, gets that, understands. It's not going to be him.
Thank you.
Next, just I just want to tune in on your chat right now. Devono says, "Why are fans trying to cut Crawford? They didn't do it before he was hurt. Not fans, just Bluff City."
Oh no!
Yes!
It wasn't just Bluff. There was a ton. Bluff, amongst other fans, have been trying to get. I think Spoonie even once might have dipped his toe into get Crawford out of here. But yeah, I mean,
I was more of the pay cut, but I'm with Bluff though. Hey, 8 to 10 mil as a backup. Listen, we got to improve this defense.
Third string,
you know. But at the end of the day, we had a good draft, and Joe McCoy was only here for 1 year. We said we always here for 1 year, so it's like, you know, the next match, the youth comes in.
Now Mendoza brings up this, but wouldn't a one tech kind of be needed with only Poe? Woods is more of a 3-tech himself, right? I think
Woods is a small one tech to me.
He's a small, yeah. I'm like, I think Woods can be that 1 tech in the pinch. Now, if we're talking long term, I mean, okay, maybe there's a valid point to be there or to be had. But Woods, I mean, you kind of look, you even see in the video, I mean, he's kind of bulked up or whatever. I think Woods is going to be that backup 1 tech. Does he have a little explosion to maybe give you some 3-tech kind of stuff? Sure. But to me, he's always been more of a 1 tech in general. I mean, even you go back to him being there with David Irving or him even with the other Collins there next to him. I mean, he was more the 1 tech to either one of those guys. So, I mean, Woods gives you a little flash. I'm not saying that he doesn't. But to me, he's just a smaller 1 tech. I think he's a 1 tech in my book. Outside of that, let me get these thoughts from y'all. You know, what are we 5? What are we 5 practices in now? 4?
Well, we started.
What?
Well, with pads, we started on Friday.
Right. Sunday.
Friday we had pads. Saturday we're off. Sunday we had practice. Monday.
What a day's flying.
Tuesday. So 5 days.
Yeah, they are 5, right? So I mean, as things are progressing or whatever, what are the things I want to, because we kind of talked about this on our show, I want to get y'all's opinion on this as well. What is kind of popping out at you so far? What are the things that, you know, you're just a little bit, maybe you're 4, as Rush Hunter just said. What does your ears jump up on? What hits you? What hits you real quick?
You know,
this right here might be something.
It's not what I saw. It's what Mike McCarthy said.
Okay.
He said that he wants to have the players being able to play two-way, two positions. You know, not just being, you know, like a slot, but also being in a wideout, or you know. And he's saying that he wants the players to be versatile in that way. Hearing Mike talk, I have to say, I envy the guy. You know, I think the way he talks with poise. And I don't think that players are going to be able to do what they've done with Jason. I think that Mike McCarthy is going to be holding these players accountable. And he's one of those guys that'll call you out. And I'm not sure how certain players are going to be able to handle that going forward. But that's what stands out to me.
Okay. Bluff, 4 practices in. What's got your ears maybe a little of attention? Like, oh, okay.
The one thing that I've noticed, I know there's been a video circulating today, but over the past 3 days, I've seen a whole lot of Alden Smith standing up. Not just today. Like anytime I see a photo of practice, it's Alden Smith standing up, and that makes me excited about what we're gonna do with this defense. Right. I don't know if it means we're working on going 3-4 or not, but he's been standing up off the damn lot every picture I see.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You know, and the thing,
go ahead, because don't.
Okay.
Ivono, please, bro, don't. You're gonna make me lose my mind right now.
We'll get to it. Don't worry, we'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Sit, breathe. We'll get to it. I see it. We'll get to it. Here's the thing. The thing that I like about it is it's not even a traditional 3-4 at times. We're seeing two down linemen with
Yeah.
Alden and D-Law standing up. And McCarthy actually had said something about sometimes if you're standing up, you can see and know how to attack the rush better.
Mhm.
And that's kind of and that's him telling you what the defensive coordinator says. To me, one of the things, absolutely, one of the things that sticks out for me. And look, I do want to backdoor because I've always been on record. Man, if Alden could be 70% of what he was, we're going to be great. The first couple of practices, and I'll backdoor what Zach Martin even said. It's like, man,
Oh, yeah.
bruh, Zach Martin, we're talking about the possibly best offensive lineman in the game. Say, they don't build guys like him. Said you could turn on the tape and they don't move and do the things like Alden Smith. And that's him just going through a couple of practices with
Right.
Alden Smith. So that gets me excited. But the other thing is, y'all remember training camp, what happened? And Garrett would speak, and then, we would get a defensive coordinator talking, and then we get Chris Richard talking, and
Mhm.
you get Mike McCarthy talking. That's it. There's no Al Harris.
Yep.
There's no positional coaches. No. You want to talk about the team and get anything about the team? You get it directly from Mike McCarthy, and he'll give you some meat on that bone. He doesn't just give you fluff. Oh, we're just trying to get better every day. We're trying to stack good days together. No. He'll tell you, and if he doesn't want to tell you, he'll let you know. We're not going to talk about that right now. And to me, refreshing take from that. Now let's get into some of this before my guy. Go ahead.
Before we go to the Dak stuff,
Go ahead.
when I looked at that formation they did today,
Mhm.
it reminded me a lot. I don't know if you guys remember this, that 09 Giants team that went to the Super Bowl. Back when
NASCAR popping. Yeah.
O.C. Human-Yora
Yeah.
and Matthias Kiwanuka and
Yeah.
Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan. And they actually had Kiwanuka and Human-Yora standing up.
Yeah.
They had the other two guys down on the line.
Mhm.
To me,
Yep.
it gives me a lot of that.
Bless you.
And that makes me really excited because that defense was
Yeah. And look, and last time you were on Bluff, we kind of talked about some of that. You couldn't name the corners and the safeties. You can name that front seven though, and what they were doing and what they were bringing.
Yeah,
No
I
ifs
can't
or buts
think
about it.
first-
Now back to let's bring up Norton. Why is Dak throwing so many picks? Well, let's be clear. He's not throwing as many picks as every single quarterback is throwing a pick. Multiple. So far, Dak's only thrown one. No, I'm sorry, two. He's thrown two. I mean, Andy Dalton's thrown two, and Ben DiNucci's thrown two, and then he's thrown three.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's things that are happening. I mean, there are. And look, and we even heard it from Cheeto say, we're so multiple, they don't know. And he knows that way because he's had a quarterback ask him, hey, what are y'all running for the first time since he's ever been in camp? So easy.
And wasn't one of Dak's pick Michael Gallup fumbling the ball and
Yes, it was
Brown-
actually it was
Whoa. No, that was a Dalton pick.
it was a Dalton? Okay.
That was a
Yeah.
Dalton pick. The one of him was the Jarwin bobble
Yeah. I
and
knew somebody-
Wilson got. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a bobble. So everybody needs to calm down. It's not like he threw. Anyways, I'm so mad because I'm tired of people. Dak does something wrong, and the media, the Twitter, people lose. I literally today I thought I was going to throw my phone out the window because I am tired. Like, people need to start respecting Dak. Seriously, this guy. Anyways, I said it, and I'm going to say it again. I think I've said it on everybody's channel. That's going to Hall of Fame. I'm telling you.
Early call.
I like it.
You know,
I like it.
I honestly, I think under Mike McCarthy's guidance and the mechanics that he has, he looks good. You see how slim he looks?
I agree. He says he's the same weight, but I think he's cut.
No.
I think it's look, I think it's the old the percentage of body fat. I think is what he said. But I agree. I think he's slimmer too. Me and Mary had a conversation about it. Mary's like, well, he's the same weight. I'm like, he can be the same weight, but he is slimmer for sure, in my opinion.
Slim, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh.
Zeke too. Zeke look like he lost weight.
This is my guy.
Zeke cut weight too.
Norton says, hey, I'm Team Dak. He's back in his hey.
Okay, all right,
I'm
all right.
I'm Team Dak. Sid.
You're good,
He
Norton.
said, he's easy on me, Sid. Easy. Question here, though. Buddha in the bill says, what about Marcel Darius? I'll be honest, I don't think they're going to bring in a D tackle personally. I don't think they are at this juncture. But, I mean, Marcel Darius, I mean, Alabama lineage, rough and tough kind of guy. Kind of bounced around to a couple of teams. What do y'all think? Was it Buffalo and Jacksonville? I think is where he played at.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think, Marcel Darius? I mean, did the Cowboys about to take a look?
He's a free agent right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 30 years old. Nah. I think they'll work with the guys they have right now. At the end of the day, listen, we don't know they brought in McCoy and Poland, but Gallimore and Tristan Hill are the future. So go with the young guys you have. And there's a guy named Wendell Carter, who was the highest paid undrafted free agent. They want to look at him. So right now it's all about youth at that spot. And they're going to continue. If there's a hole somewhere where they got to feel like, say, safety, that's a spot right now that they're keeping an eye on. I don't think they'll sign somebody for that spot, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm gonna take my time here. A shameless plug. There's a guy out there. I've kind of put his stats up. I've been on Twitter about it. I've been on for a little bit about it. If we want to kind of take maybe the next step and get another weapon back there in the secondary, his name might be Logan Ryan. I mean, now we're even closer to some money without having to do so much to go sign him for a 1-year deal. But yeah, if the Cowboys want to kind of go do something, he wants to play safety. Let's get Logan Ryan and back there tag team. And I love what Donovan Wilson's been doing so far in camp and want to see him walk through that door. But still, I mean, if we can go add a Logan Ryan, I'm not going to be mad at it for a 1-year deal, get him in here on the books, then off the books, and kind of go from there. But, I'm just saying, hey, Logan Ryan, I'm going to pound the table some more for it while I get the chance.
Now, for Marcel Darius, if we do go outside, that to me, that'll be the first name I go for. Because he's a big guy. He can play 1 tech. He can play 3 tech. He has 40 sacks for his career, so he can get to the quarterback.
Yep.
And he's just a talented player. I think he was more of a attitude that got him out of Jacksonville. And as you can see, everybody. So how much of that was really Marcel Darius or just the culture? Mm-hmm. So I think if we have to go outside, he should get a look. But to me, I like Joe Jackson as an inside player.
Really?
Of him, 3 tech. That is a grown man strength player.
He is, but okay, all right.
280, so he's not much small. He's about the same size as Crawford.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't this be the perfect opportunity for Jerry to go up to Mr. Commish and say, hey, I think it's time that you reinstate, who am I going to say?
Randy Gregory. I mean,
isn't it time?
Yeah, I mean, Spoonie brought this up on Sunday. We were talking about it, and I think Spoonie said it best. It was a lot of talk and buzz and tweets and stuff, and all of a sudden, magically, it went silent. So I think there's something on the horizon. I'm about what Spoonie was telling me on Sunday and saying that there was a lot of talk and stuff that are happening, but the fact that it got really quiet really quick, I think there's something on the horizon. I'm about with Spoonie.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah,
sure.
That's my opinion. I think when you have so much heat going on, then it's quiet. Something was said, and hopefully, in my opinion, I think is on the favorite side of Randy Gregory to be back sooner than later.
You think we'll hear something by tomorrow?
I think by Friday. I'm gonna go by Friday.
Okay, so what are you today? Wednesday? I say by Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. That'd be great.
Bluff
more runs.
But Bluff is not agreeing with us. You don't want Gregory?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, I'm just asking. You said
no. I was about to say he went about the whole Twitter thing wrong.
Oh,
like these are grown man moves you make.
Yeah.
And here's what I was saying on my show a couple weeks ago. This is something that is collectively bargained in a binding contract between the NFL and the players. Mm-hmm. You don't take that to Twitter. This is a law matter. You take this to lawyers. If he doesn't like what the PA lawyer's doing, get your lawyer, file an injunction just like Zeke did, how many games did Zeke miss when they went against the CBA? He didn't miss any until the courts decided they were
Yeah,
wrong.
of course, right.
One lawyer call. This is in the contract. File an injunction. He's on the field tomorrow. That's
Yeah.
just
Fair, but he don't have the same money that Zeke has though either.
I mean,
But I feel you.
It's in the contract, so I mean, how much fighting does it really have to take?
Well,
We would
He
think.
pull up the CBA. And
It's an odd situation either way. It is very odd. I mean, there's no reason at this point that he shouldn't be reinstated.
No,
And
none.
And I find it curious that he didn't attack the NFL front office because we heard about Steven and them said they contacted the NFL front office about him coming back even before, just for training camp until they get a ruling done. And he went out the PA. And then, I mean, let's say he's wrong. Let's go with that. But then your PA rep blocks you on Twitter. I mean, who's really being the grown up here?
They
I'm
wrong.
gonna block you? Oh, really? Like word?
We're in high school.
And to add on to that, listen, guys like Alden Smith, he had 3 times the the amount of stuff that he had during away from the game that he had to go through.
Didn't he have
way
five?
more than
five
Gregory.
didn't Alvin have like 5 charges against him? Even more?
Yeah, even 3 times more. He got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So even that terrorist thing, that was like the last thing. But here's the thing: he's away from the game for 5 years. He's been working with veterans, right? We all know Jay Glazer is one of the big guys. One of the guys that really has his back. So basically, you just put him back in the game, which that's a great thing,
Right.
Randy Gregory, when he came back to the NFL and then they suspended for the playoff, I believe that was the 2016 year. What happened was what? They said that he didn't the reason why he got suspended was because there was a time where I guess when the NFL give out your urine cups or whatever, you got to go to a facility that they tell you to go to, do the urine exam, and then boom, he was at a facility locked in.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL knows that. He didn't take a urine test because why? He's locked in the facility.
I mean,
So my thing is this.
Oh, go ahead. Let you finish that.
For somebody to come out and say that the reason why it's taking this long because of his desire to play the game.
Trash.
That's crazy.
Mm.
That is crazy. And at the end of the day, the very thing that the new CBA deal says that players can do in marijuana, that he should be in the game.
I mean, out of all the major league sports, at the end of the day, the NFLPA by far and away is the worst for their own players as far as the union goes. And it just is what it is. But we got a lot of questions stacking up here, so I want to transition. Hey, look, let's put a tab in it. Friday, let's see if we can get Gregory back by Friday, then we can attack it again. But now, how about Nolan? I mean, Nolan's in the building, and look, y'all kind of alluded to some of the things that Nolan's already doing. The 2 down linemen, the DN standing up, NASCAR packages. We're hiding coverages as Cheetos talked about. The quarterbacks are asking, hey, wait a minute, what are y'all running? So on and so forth. Because by now we're hearing about this offense is just scoring all these touchdowns in training camp and everything. Instead, we're hearing about all these turnovers and everything. So, Nolan, meeting expectations. Are you excited? I mean, I'm excited about Nolan until we give up a touchdown, and then I'll be mad. I'm just joking. But no. I mean, right now, Nolan, as advertised, we're feeling what he's doing with everything in camp or bluff.
I love it, man. Nolan's a linebacker guy, and look at the move he made. The move anybody who knows football saw should have happened. You put your athletic pass coverage linebacker, LV in the middle, and you put your beast who could do everything, Jalen Smith, at a spot where he can do everything and take the play calling out of his hands and just let him go out there and do what he does.
What they call him bluff? What they call him bluff? The Godbacker. On Twitter, he's put about the Godbacker's back.
Yeah, he's back. So yeah, just that one move lets you know his impact. And then all the D-line stuff you talked about. And also him just bringing in Tom Sula. A great mind who was instrumental in bringing us Alden Smith. So they're just making like A+ moves back to back that are really affecting the front 7.
I was going to say, and of course, that's whenever Nolan was the head coach out there in San Francisco, and Thomas Sula, he brought on and stuff like that, right? Connected that and bringing it back here to Dallas. Go ahead, Sid.
Yeah, man. I've been hating on Law on my feeds a lot from what I saw last year. But I think Law is gonna step up big time this year because look who we have. Look who he's working with. He can't be the one person that's not gonna produce this year. He can't. And I think he's coming in with even more to prove. Yeah, he
Right.
was injured last year. Yeah, and so on. But I think Alden, Law, Van Der Esch, or what's Smith, like these guys are gonna be. It's gonna be. I'm excited. I can't wait. September 13th, 8:20 p.m. kickoff.
Gotta wait all day too for him. Gotta watch
Yeah.
all that
Oh,
football.
but you know what? I'm happy because
Makes that much sweeter.
it's a Sunday night game. There's no other games. That means everybody's gonna be watching.
Mhm.
Everybody likes to see Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Let's go. I'm excited. Listen, I just got the chills. I got the goosies.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I mean, and again, back to just the small swap there at linebacker, bringing in Tomasula, getting out in here and things like that. I mean, and look, and going to D-Law, I get it. He didn't have the sack numbers that people wanted, but that's low key. We used to talk about Tony Romo used to get wide receivers paid, right?
Mhm.
Like Lauren Robinson went and got a big ass deal over there because of Tony Romo. Hey, low key, Robert Quinn went and got paid by Chicago because of D-Law.
D-Law,
Look, D-Law's
yeah.
production against the run and tackles behind the line of scrimmage didn't drop. You want the sack numbers to go up? Sure, I get it. But to me, D-Law didn't have this terrible year that a lot of people want to talk about. I get it. You want the sack numbers. That's the flash stat. I do get that. But I do think, Sid, with everybody like you just talked about, what they're adding, the sacks are going to come along with the full package of him. Spoon, Nolan, what do you think?
Well, can Batman do without Robin? Nah, right? Can Batman do without Alfred? Nah. What is it like this?
Can Jordan do it without Pippen? Can LeBron do it without whoever he goes to team? Whatever. Okay.
I'm kind of feeling like this is a Justice League forming because I look at Mike Nolan as Alfred. We already have Batman with D-Law. Now all of a sudden we got a Robin with Alden Smith. Now all of a sudden now we got another character with Robin with Griffin, Everson Griffin. I mean, guess what? You got a supporting cast. You always need that. And the one thing about a 3-4, like I'm with Bluff, with the video that you saw with D-Law standing up and Alden Smith standing up. End of the day, in a 3-4, you need that Batman and Robin. You need that dynamic duo. And a lot of successful 3-4 teams that have won in this league have that. Listen, Mike Nolan was part of that staff with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm not saying the Cowboys defense is the Baltimore Ravens of the year 2000, and they got to play first. But is it a pure example? When you have a combination of guys that support one another, of talent on that defense, you can do something. Ray Lewis had Terrell Suggs, right? D-Law finally had, he had Quinn last year. A different type of defense. If it's him, you got a terror. And not only that, you got other guys around you. The depth is crazy. So I can't wait at all. I can't wait.
And let's flip to this right here. Let's flip to the Francis Bernard, right? Interception yesterday, interception today, showing up, showing out. Thoughts about Francis Bernard's chances? Put a percentage on it. What percentage do you think this guy's going to make the team as a rookie free agent? Bluff?
This one is hard to say because it's going to be hard to keep 7 linebackers with all the talent we got.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, whose spot is he going to take? March Lillard or Gifford? Now, I think he has a good shot at taking either one of them. I probably put it at probably 60%. He takes March Lillard's spot. 60. Let me say this about Francis Bernard, and I've been saying it for weeks. He was the best coverage linebacker in college football last year. Everything he's showing us on the field right now, he showed it every week at Utah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem he has is playing in the trenches because he has short arms. So he has problems disengaging from tackles and wrapping up. it's gonna work to his benefit that we have no preseason because that won't show because we can't tackle in practice.
Right.
So that's a little concerning to me because we don't get to see his strength. We don't get to see his weaknesses and how weak they really are.
So what you want to give? You give him a 50-50, 50%, 30, 70?
Man, he's a great coverage linebacker. And this where you can't tackle and it's all about 7-on-7, he's gonna outshine everybody, even the stars. So I
put a number on it.
I give him 60. I give him 60%.
60. All right, Sid, what you got? What percentage you got on Francis Bernard?
Yeah, I actually agree with Bluff City on this one, but I'm gonna say it's a 50-50 thing.
Okay.
I don't. It's like he said, like, this 50-50. And it's funny because I'm reading the text and Elazar Mendoza said he was going to say 60% too.
Me and Mendoza always have the same thoughts on everything.
Really?
All right, Spoon, what do you got?
100%.
Oh,
100%. I told y'all Sunday.
Wow.
This man is gonna make Cowboy Nation fall in love with him. The man is already making interceptions back to back. He's making plays. You need it. Sean Lee is getting up there. Mark Leonard can play. Now, listen, Gifford, that might be a spot he can take. Regardless, this guy here makes plays. Listen, I loved him. It's something how I had him in college, but during the Senior Bowl, during that senior week with his teammate Bradley Anae, he was one of the guys in that spotlight who was wreaking havoc during the Senior Bowl. The guy chases you sideline to sideline. Yes, look, we all know about the weaknesses, but the whole thing is that the guy can be an impacted player. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but he's going to be one of those guys that's is like he's not a star, but he's always around with the ball. Is that he is that guy? And listen, I like Samoan brothers. I really, really do like Samoan brothers, and I like the ones with the long hair. They remind me of Troy Polamalu. This guy here, Cowboy Nation. I'm gonna say it again. August 18, 2020. He's gonna make us fall in love with him. Watch.
Well, I kind of pivot. I'm gonna look at this. I look at, and I'm gonna balance this out a little bit. Guys that were here before this coaching staff versus guys that they brought in, and we're talking about Marshall Lillard and Luke Gifford. And we're not hearing a lot about Luke Gifford right now. Now, we know Marshall Lillard is a special teams ace, right? We know that about him. That's one of the reasons why he ended up on this roster. So we got to kind of look at that. Can Bernard give us something on special teams? I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm not gonna go as high as Spoon. I'm not going. There's nothing absolute in this world. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna go 75. No, 70. I'm gonna go 70%. Because I think it's Gifford who already is coming off an injury. We got to see what he's going to do. March, and again, we're in that new versus old regime. I'm gonna give him a 70. If he can continue to perform, I'm gonna give him a 70% chance to make this team. And like I said, again, and we've had this talk a lot about these undrafted guys that are in here. 2 at best is what I've given it. I think Suo and I think Bernard are the top 2. I get it, Kirk. Maybe I don't know, but again, I'll give him a 70% chance just because of what he's battling from old regime to new regime, and I'll kind of go there with it. Let me get into these comments real quick, man. We appreciate y'all as always. Keep sharing. Hit the sub and the notification button so you know when we go on. Bluff City, tell them where they can find you. It says Bluff City already, but where you at? Everywhere. Go ahead and tell the people real quick.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything's Bluff City Cowboys.
That part. Your boy Sid Hogan. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, man, you can find me on YouTube, Dallas Cowboys, the number 4 life, and obviously my Twitter, Sid DC for life. I was just watching.
Somebody's digging the Jackson. Buddha, my boy Buddha's digging the Jackson inside. Real quick, Sid, you had a question directed at you. Thoughts on Logan Ryan at safety, real quick. Go ahead and answer that as I keep going through here. As you had a point, I'm gonna get you back. Answer that, get your point. I'll get to the next point. Go ahead, Sid.
I'm not sure about Logan Ryan.
Okay, fair enough. What was the point you're going to make then?
I was just looking at the Francis Bernard college because I don't watch college. We I think I made that very clear. So the way that he can get to the ball and his vision
Smart
is
play.
totally insane.
Athletic.
Yeah.
Like how he cuts across, he can cut across the field and still get to. I'm gonna go do some research on this guy. Bluff.
All right.
We will definitely
Look,
relook at this in a few days.
what if you can find any team that runs lead plays or read options? That's what your weakness is.
Josh Norman is
A
he
free
signed
agent.
Buffalo.
No, he's Buffalo. He signed to Buffalo months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Go
I
ahead.
saw that earlier and I was like, what? And I was gonna go look for that.
He wouldn't make this roster.
I don't think so either.
No.
Not in this scheme. He's with the right where he needs to be, for sure. For sure. Rush is up. Spoonie. We'll get BGR copyright to use hashtag get Logan. I'm all about it. So, great question. So is Utah our new Boise State? Well, we drafted Bradley and Nate from Utah. We got Francis Bernard from Utah.
Thank you.
Bradley and
Pac-12, right? Is that our new Boise State all of a sudden?
Could be.
Maybe. We gotta see, look. We have to see if both make the team though.
Who's that?
Bradley's up for sure. Francis is gonna
Hey,
say
100%. 110%. That boy bad.
I'm with
That
you.
boy is bad.
That's one thing
Huh?
you guys will all agree on Bradley and I because you guys all talked about him in every stream that I've done with you guys. Bluff,
Man.
Nix, Spoonie, you guys have all said that this guy is a beast.
Go watch USC and
See you
Stanford.
both play at the
Enjoy the
year.
show.
See you both play at
USC
the
and
game.
Stanford. If you watch both of those games, you'll be like, how was he not a third, fourth round pick?
Yeah, that boy's bad. Bradley and Nate.
And the Senior Bowl.
Sid, what you have to understand is this: there are guys that get to the combine that become combine warriors, and people fall in love with, and they shouldn't be. Then there's guys that get to the combine and don't do it the right way, or measurables are the right way, and teams are like, oh, maybe not. Bradley and Nate's 40 time hurt him.
Yeah.
But I don't need Bradley and Nate to run a 40 for me.
Yeah.
I need him on the edge getting to the quarterback. I need to worry about I'm looking at the cone drills. I'm looking at the 10 yards. I'm looking at the burst. I'm looking at what he does. And again, I mean, Bradley Nate just checks off the bookmarks. Again, I know a lot of people are going to be a little down right now because on camera you're not hearing a bunch about Bradley Nate. But back to our head coach and what he has said. Hey, right now, we got to get the vets all these burns to learn a new system on both sides of the ball. So these younger guys are going to not get as much reps or as much time. You're not going to hear as much about them just because they're going to have to wait. These rookies and stuff outside of a CeeDee Lamb, and now Gallimore's going to get pushed up a little bit more now. Because look, we haven't heard a ton about Gallimore yet. You're going to start hearing now because guess what? Gerald McCoy's gone now. And that's just kind of the things that are. And I mean, look at the head coach from Utah. Where did he used to coach? Go look at the things that he's done and the things he implements. And that's when you kind of get into the college game. And actually, I think Mendoza, boom. Absolutely, Mendoza. The Utah team had a bunch of dogs on that.
Oh, listen, I tell you this right now. Well, who's Thomas Sula play on Dallas right now? Alden Smith, right? Well, the other day they was talking about Thomas Sula working out with Bradley on the side. On the side. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying they're coaching whatever, but at the end of the day, when you see something in a player, you will pay a lot more attention to that player with details. End of the day, I love Thomas Sula as a hire. BJ can tell you that. I've been on top of that.
Yeah,
this guy will get you going. Bradley and Nay, end of the day, once you get a Senior Bowl and you see these guys come in, do what they got to do. This guy was a terror all week long. Became the best player on the field during the Senior Bowl. Francis Bernard was there just as well. I love the tag. I love the fact that we got these tag team guys because they play with each other, and again, they're dogs.
Yeah.
Listen,
Hey, I got a
just
question for you
can't wait, man.
guys.
Go for
I
it.
can't wait.
Okay. We're expecting Griffin in practice tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
Does he start off with the
Impo.
But does Griffin ones? And if not, how long before you think he gets to start the day off with the ones over Alden Smith, who everybody's loving right now?
I don't think he will.
I think. I mean, if it's a traditional 4 down lineman, maybe. If they're doing the stand with 2 down linemen, I don't know where it's going to happen at. And that's kind of one of the key things that we've talked about. How much of a true to life 4-3 hands in the dirt are we going to do versus guys standing up and everything else? I'm going to go with he's not going to start tomorrow. I think they're going to bring him along. He just got into camp. He just got to do everything. I think they'll bring him along. I don't think he'll be starting tomorrow, personally. I don't think he'll start tomorrow.
I don't think so either.
How long do you think it'll take then? Like if Alden Smith is still just balling out, does he?
Well, hold on. Let me a little clarity to this, if you will. Before camp ever started, we went around, me, Mary, and Spoon on one of our Stargate shows and said who's going to be the starter week 1. Obviously, before we ever got Everson Griffin. I literally, on that show, was the only one that said Alden Smith will be the starter week 1.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I said.
Spoonie, what happened?
Well, as far as all I mean to start week 1, well, at the end of the day, listen, Griffin's here too. If it's going 4-man down, 4-man, Griffin can start. And then when they go 3-4, all they could be the guy to stand up. I just think that just gives you fresh bodies, a lot of fresh bodies, no matter what scheme you're gonna run. I'm not so high on starting because at the end of the day, each week you're gonna run a different scheme. It's more about snaps and basically depending on what you're gonna run. I love it regardless. At the end of the day, they're all gonna be just like Bluff said earlier about the old New York Giants NASCAR defense. They're gonna have rotational guys come in whenever they run. Nobody they don't miss a beat. I love it.
I mean, Oops Upside Your Head said Eric Reed. Even though I don't see Dallas pursuing him based on his stance, Dallas going after Eric Reed. I don't think so. I mean, I'm begging the table for Logan Ryan. I don't think they're going to add anybody unless there's another injury. I don't think they're going to add anybody. But I don't think it's going to be Eric Reed either way.
There'll be more injuries.
I know there will be, but I mean, stance aside, I don't think it'll be Eric Reed. I think Logan Ryan gives him the flexibility to do that slide in the box and be a safety on the back end. He's more flexible than what Eric Reed gives you, and that's why I think they would bring in a Logan Reed if the money's right over a Logan Ryan over Eric Reed is what I would think.
I'm with you.
And of course, Mendoza says, I agree with Spoon. And you're right, Spoon. I mean, again, there'll be guys that start, but number of snaps is going to be something that we'll monitor the entire time with the rotation, who's coming in, who's coming out. Great question, Bluff, on that. But, again, Mendoza says he'll say it'll take 1 day before Griffin is the true-to-life starter over there. Wow. I'll go with it depends on day by day. Do we start with 4 down linemen with their hand in the dirt? It'll be Griffin. If we're going with 2 ends standing up, I think it'll be Alden. And hey, what a great problem to have.
No, Bluff got my mind twirling about Joe Jackson out of Miami playing inside. That's what I'm thinking about. I was like, ooh, I ain't think about that. That's a good one.
Last year now. He did play a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I noticed. So I'm like, you know what? That's a good thought right there. That's a good thought.
So where does that leave Dorrance Armstrong then, guys? What do y'all think about Dorrance?
Listen, I like Dorrance. I know we had this count. I like Dorrance. I really do. Last time we had this convo was between him and Gregory. I took Gregory because he that dude. But again, now that McCoy's out, it may keep him on. It'd be smart to just keep him on and try to go elsewhere if you gotta let somebody go. In my opinion, go in the secondary.
Okay. What do you think, Dorrance? What do you think about Dorrance Armstrong? Shoe in. I know we kind of cut our teams. We kind of talked about this last time. Things have changed.
Yeah. When I look at the way things are right now, we haven't really talked about who's backing up D-Law. it looks like they pretty much settled Alden Smith on their right side, and then you got Griffin on their right side. So we need a backup for D-Law.
I think Bradley Anae's the guy.
You think so?
The
think
backup
that's
D.
It's gonna be one of those two, but we do need a guy.
Could be Dorrance.
Oh.
Yeah, could be Dorrance as well. Sid, Dorrance makes this cut here.
I think he does.
Okay.
Look at your phone, Knicks.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I know when we did that whole Dorrance Armstrong, Randy Gregory thing, West Coast came on and talked about we were going with all the babies, but I think this coaching staff is going off who's the best player. And if Bradley and Rondell Carter come out there and just show their dogs, they might just let Dorrance Armstrong walk.
Which game should I go watch with an eye that you were talking?
Of Stanford and USC.
Stanford to USC?
Yeah.
Real quick, Sid's got to jump off of here. Sid, tell the people that can find you before you get out of here real quick. We got about another 20 minutes we're going to go here, but Sid, go ahead.
And the
All right, man. Thanks for having me on. I got to get up early for gym and work, but definitely check me out on Dallas Cowboys for Life, and definitely check me out on Twitter, Sid DC for Life. Knicks, Bluff, Spoonie, I'm going to have all three of you guys on my show. And whenever you guys need me, definitely reach out. I'm off next week for the whole week. So big week coming. So we'll be able to do a lot more.
All right, brother. Hit us up, man. Have a good night, brother.
Hey, see it.
You said, brother.
Yeah.
What time is it there? I don't know what time zone you're in.
It's 11:30 p.m.
Okay. I was just wondering what time zone.
What time is it where you're at?
It's 10:31 minute.
Yeah, so you guys are an hour. You guys are all an hour behind me, no?
10:28 in this beast.
Not
Yeah. See?
10.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh,
30.
no. I was gonna say Spoon's on the East Coast as well. It's 11:30 over there, but he's retired. He done put his time in. He's getting them checks and everything. Spoonie's good to go. Mendoza with the Sid salute with the big hand up as always.
All right, man.
We also appreciate him coming through. Thank you very much, Sid. We'll check you out next week, no doubt. With that being said, let's go back in here because we do have boom. Well, DA is a right the end. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, somebody's going to get cut as it pertains to the DN. Now, some of it got a little. I mean, I guess we could say. I mean, especially once. Let's be clear. Especially once Randy Gregory comes back.
That's a lot of right defensive ends.
Somebody. That's why I said to me, Bradley, they're going to stash him behind D-Law. That's what I think. That's kind of where I'm at. Mike McCarthy said he won his Super Bowl with 77 dudes. We need all hands on the. Yeah, I mean, what he had 17. Like when they won the Super Bowl, I think it was 17 guys on injured reserve, right?
Yeah, that was a big
Right.
I know he had a lot of guys on injured reserve. I mean, JJ Starks was one of the reasons why he stepped. One of the reasons they won the Super Bowl is because he came on late in the season. And the double 44 was able to give him enough run game during the playoffs to go do what they needed to do. So, I mean, another thing or another blade, if you will, that Mike McCarthy has is he understands how to deal with injuries and move forward and do certain things to get there.
Hey, I got a question for you guys too when you go through this.
Go for it. Yeah.
Just talking about the whole Armstrong thing brought up a question in my head.
Okay.
Who is one player that we haven't heard anything about that you're wondering why we haven't heard anything about him? Like a guy that we projected to be a starter and you haven't heard anything about him. Because one immediately popped in my head. And I'm a little
I mean, I can think of a couple. Spoon, you want to go? You want me to go?
No, you got it.
All right. I mean, low key. I mean, we're talking about the three linebacker set. I mean, we haven't heard anything about Sean Lee whatsoever. We have not heard. I mean, honestly, we haven't heard much about D-Law either, other than the fact that he was standing up. Well, no, I'll take that back. I think he got a batted pass. I'll take that back. So let's see. Sean Lee, we haven't heard anything about. I mean, Poe just got back. McCoy got hurt. Blade Jarwin's, some things there. I mean, I haven't heard.
To me, it was like-
I was gonna say, I haven't heard much about Haha either.
That's the one I was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't heard much
Yeah.
about Haha.
heard anything about him in the secondary.
Yeah, it could be a good thing.
Could be.
Could be a bad thing. Look, I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Bluff. I'm picking up what you're putting.
No news is good news. No news is good news sometimes.
There's a lot of interceptions in that secondary, and I haven't heard his name attached to any of them.
I mean, and look, and even forget just that. I mean, Worley with the punch out, the peanut punch,
Yeah.
and he got a fumble. Like none of that from Haha yet. Yeah,
Well,
No,
yeah,
I'm still
Yeah.
on him, but
yeah.
still something.
Still a little worried about Haha. Little maybe
I
too
don't know
long.
if- I don't know if it's
too long in the tooth. Too long in the tooth, maybe.
I'm gonna say it is.
I'm not
I
trying to
don't-
put anything negative out there about him.
What happened?
I said I'm not trying to put anything negative out there about him. Just saying, I've heard a
No,
lot
no,
about
no,
the
you
secondary,
don't.
and his name
No,
hasn't
no,
been
no.
part of the conversation.
And Bluff, you absolutely. In my opinion, you want to hear something.
Something.
The guy got a fumble. He caught the fumble or whatever. You hear nothing. You hear, it's something. Maybe he's having the way he's doing his coverages that he's on somebody and Dak still goes somewhere else and the guys make the play. But I do agree with that. Listen, I have an issue with the secondary. I said from this whole summer. It's a question mark, even with Haha being there. And I'm not trying to go back into rehab because of that guy number 33. I'm not going that route.
Damn it,
But
33 up again.
See, Bluff, and my whole thing is just like the secondary scares me a bit. It really, really does. And I hope. Listen, I'm with the BJ with this new the Long and Ryan train to get somebody here to really make a difference in that secondary the best you can. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be the thing. There's going to be times where the front seven can get to the quarterback, and he's second. Got to make plays.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the undrafted guy Kirk,
Yeah,
still not really doing much as well. I mean, interesting question here: who's better defending the run, Alden or Dorrance Armstrong? Yeah, I mean, just for sheer not been in the league or been out of the league for so long, I'll take DA at face value, I guess. I mean, although we're hearing about Alden and what he's doing in camp so far, and I love to hear that about him. But I mean, I would have to guess maybe a little bit that Dorrance Armstrong currently is a little bit better against the run. Maybe I don't know. It's a good question. Bluff. I don't know. I mean,
we're down to our fourth and fifth right tackle. Whoever's playing behind D-Law, we should have heard something about them by now. If you're playing against the fifth right tackle, somebody should have made a play that we heard about. And it's been nothing about what's going on behind him.
I mean, maybe the boy still's doing work, though.
I guess so.
Hey, maybe he's doing work, though. Spoon, better against the run, do you think, currently, right now?
Well, currently, I'm gonna go with Dorrance Armstrong because he's more fresher to the than Alden Smith. Alden Smith just coming back, getting his feet wet. So I'm gonna go with Dorrance Armstrong. And end of the day, Dorrance Armstrong, he's very flexible too. He could play, he could stand up, or put his hand or put his hands in the dirt, which he did with Kansas, right? Kansas, yes, he did that with Kansas, so he could do the same thing. So that's probably another reason why they won't let him go. He could do. He's very flexible. Instead of doing just putting his hands in the dirt, he could do both. So I'm going with Dorrance though.
Okay. All right. Now let me bring this to the forefront. And if we don't get any more questions, maybe we'll get out here on how much longer Bluff has.
I'm good all night, man. However long you need me.
Okay, bet. All right, we'll get the y'all heard Bluff say, and he don't know about me and Spoon because we go. So he said he's good. Get the lights, get the shares. Too late now. You already said it. Get the lights, get the shares, get some more people in here. Let's keep this thing flowing. I'm gonna tell you a position that I'm worried about so far. Even though Mike McCarthy came out here and talked about Jaws season and how much he's going to help attack in the middle of the field and this, that, and the third. And back to the Cowboy position when he was at Oklahoma State, where you're a fullback, tight end, wide receiver, all that's fine, love it. And I've been the biggest guy since we drafted Jaws. Had to bring Spoonie on board, the whole nine. Boy, haven't heard a lot about the tight end position, period. Outside of drops from Blake Bell and Jarwin. I mean, and heard nothing about Mr. Dalton Schultz yet. Reason for concern, or hey, it's just 4 practices, whatever.
For me, and you can go back and find this in April. I've been telling everybody, we do not have a pass catching tight end behind Blake Jarwin. When guys like the guy from Tennessee was still available, and I was saying we need to go take a look at that, or we need to go call up Tampa and see if we can get their tight end. And I was getting hammered like we got Jarwin, but we don't have anything else. If Jarwin goes down, or if Jarwin goes out of the game, everybody pretty much knows our tight end can't catch the ball. Blake Bell is a fullback special teams guy, and we don't know what Schultz is, but he hasn't shown us much. And then the other guys we got are undrafted guys that we have no clue about. So I'm concerned about that tight end spot, especially if Jarwin gets a case of the dropsies. Then we don't have anywhere else we can go to. We may just have to start running 4 wide or putting Pollard out.
Just tight end, yeah, just three running back, 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. Spoony, time is it too early to worry about tight end, or is it time to worry about tight end?
One second, please.
Okay.
Hello? Yes, how you doing? The Lady Walker? What are you doing these days? None? I will hold that call. Time out, hold on. That's plan. That's a plan right there. I'm doing another plan. Plan B.
Yeah.
Hello? Bruce? What's going on, Bruce? How you doing? Listen, you don't want Jordan Howard, right? Listen. Be a 4th round pick. Take it or leave it. Put it on the table. Or
right here.
Oh my God, Spoony.
How you doing? Hey, listen. You already paid your boy a lot of money from Atlanta. You don't want Njoku. I'll give you a 4th round pick, friend. Come on, take it or leave it. See, there's options out there.
Boney.
There's a lot of options out there. You go find somebody. And the day, listen, I'm not saying at the end of the day, you want to have that. You want to have, in case a guy goes down, you got somebody there. You don't want no holes anywhere. There's 3 tight ends. They are pretty much available. 2 for trade. 1 is an older veteran, which I think who come for $2 million. Who, whatever. Who signed for cheap?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you go.
Exactly.
So I guess basically what we're saying is we're all a little worried about tight end.
But
yes.
Let's say Jarwin plays 65% of the snaps. Those other 35% of the snaps, who's going to be out there? I mean, I understand Blake Bell's a great blocker, but we need a receiving threat when Jarwin's down the field. Or we're just handicapping our offense. Let's get somebody.
Run
around.
I mean, Tony Pollard, I guess, would have to come in, right? Maybe. But yeah, Blake Jarwin has got to come in and get his Jason Witten on. I'm not going to miss any snaps and be on the field every play, no matter what. A little concerning, obviously, because Jason Witten's don't grow on trees.
Right. That's
yeah, and to me, like when I look over this roster and I kind of go through it, I'm like, man, and again, I was like, hey, early on, and I get it, we're only talking about 4 practices, but early on, I was like, all right, well, I mean, you know what, Dalton Schultz, we know what the tree, if you will, the Ertz of the world, they're in the Baltimore old boy up there, so on and so forth. We know the Stanford tree, right? And he was behind some people. Maybe there's something there. New staff, things are happening. Witten's gone. Well, and man, 4 practices in, and it's like not really much happening. And I'm like, I'm a little concerned about the old tight end position. Spoony can talk to all these dudes except Jamal. Spoony, you're never going to live it down, man.
Who's that?
Norton.
Who's that?
Oh, Norton. Yeah. Norton telling you about.
listen, who knows? He still may be in talks with. He still will probably. There will be conversation with him in Dallas. Probably the Seattle Seahawks don't resign him or what. Listen, I'm just hoping they find themselves a solid safety and Donovan Wilson. That's what I really, really want. End of the day, if you go look at his highlights, go to his sophomore year, the dude was on point. He was what compared to Tyrann Mathieu, the bunny badger, the honey badger, excuse me. And end of the day, that's who I want this team. And I'm so sick that last year's staff didn't play him when he went down.
I shouldn't have brought it up. He's triggered. But
Mendoza said,
thank you for Ventrell Bryant. There, a la the proposed light end idea with Noah Brown. I mean, it's an option.
I could do it with Noah Brown because Noah Brown is 220. I don't think Brian's that big. I think he's kind of a lanky guy.
He's got the height, but not the girth.
The height, not the girth, right?
Yeah, he's got the height, not the girth.
Yeah, so big running back.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if John was to go down, I think they would just have to go to a 3-4 wide receiver set, and maybe it gets Pollard more involved.
Or trade for Njoku or Howard.
Or Howard. Yeah, I mean, moves to be made if need be.
Yeah, I'd rather have it on the team though. And like I said,
yeah,
that 35% that he's not going to be on the field, I want to receive it, at least a threat of a reception out there.
Right.
Yeah. And again, as we talked about earlier, Noah's done anyways. I don't think Noah makes this squad, period. I think he's going to be a casualty from the last squad. I think at the end of the day, if we're talking about wide receiver, we know the big three. I think, we're looking at backup punt returner, and whatnot. And I think it's going to be Wilson there at the 4. I think it's going to be Ventrell Bryant at the 5. And then if we're carrying 6, then I'm thinking it's John V. Johnson. That's kind of where I think this thing is going to kind of shake itself out at. I mean, now we do have to, and the thing that I always tell people every single year, especially now whenever you just have to wait for the final cuts instead of like these multiple cuts, you got to wait for the waiver wire to happen and see, once these guys get cut, once training camp's over, what they decide to bring in and add to this team. And there might be something there on the tight end front where they maybe try to add, or as you talk about the Njoku or a OJ Howard, maybe that's one of those, okay, we're going to let them go. Let's trade him for something, and you can get him even cheaper. Smooth some about 4th round picks. I'm like, my God, how about a 5th or a 6th? Let's kind of kick the can down the road a little bit. Rush Turner said, you're killing me. Bringing up the Jamal Adams and what could be. And then, of course, Mendoza said that 35% is run plays and blocking pass plays for them. I mean, maybe. But on the same token, you want to tip your hand, though, either every time that, Bell comes in and Jarwin goes out, like, oh, well, guess what?
We can run a 4-3 now because the tight end is not running routes.
I mean, hey, Jeff Swam's out there. Time to bring Jeff Swam on back in. Hook 'em horns. Now, after that, let me ask this question. So tight end for me is number 1. I think we all kind of agree. Tight end's maybe the number 1 position where we're kind of like a little iffy, right? Okay. What's your number 2, guys? What's your number 2 for practices in, injuries be damned, the whole 9? What is your number 2 position that you're the most worried about currently?
You can go first on this one. I got to think about this
one.
For me, safety.
Oh, I already knew. Okay.
That's it. Safety.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not going to say number 33's name, but I'm telling you, that middle of the field, that needs to be covered, and you need more than Ha-Ha there. So that's my thing right there, safety.
Okay. Man, I'm Bluff. You got a number 2 yet?
I would probably have to say left tackle.
Okay.
I never liked Cam Irvin as a tackle.
Oh, high five, brother.
Oh, yes. Man. Thank you.
Yeah, high five, brother. Yeah, I hate Cam Irvin.
Uh-oh.
I hated the signing.
as a tackle,
I hated it.
I could maybe tolerate him as a guard.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Yeah,
as a
sure.
tackle,
Yeah.
the play,
Nope. As a swing tackle?
yeah.
No.
Like I was telling people, it's one thing to make a bad block, but Cam Irvin was missing people. I mean, it was like just watching them go by. And when you have a left tackle who misses completely, that's dangerous for your quarterback.
Right.
He showed that one too many times.
Yeah.
I like Brandon Knight. He's
Ugh.
a scrappy kid, but the fact that he's out right now kind of concerns me.
Mhm.
I don't know how confident I would be if he had to play more than one game at left tackle, which with our starting tackle, that's a possibility. So I think we need to solidify that a little bit.
Yeah. I do like this right here. Said, I'll say left guard right now because, yeah. Hardin wasn't even take the reins. I mean, for sure. I mean, that whole left side, if you will, is rough. But I do like this from Norton. Let's bring out the old glass and look through it. A lot of teams have veteran cuts. It's true. What do y'all think our veteran surprise cut could be? I got one off the top. I'm gonna let y'all go. I got one off the top. I'm gonna let y'all go. Your surprise veteran cut that the Cowboys might let go is who? Great question, Norton.
That was a great question.
Yeah,
it does happen.
If Sid was there, I would say Tyrone Crawford. But let me think about that. You know what? Surprise cut.
I got one.
Lee.
Say it again.
Sean Lee.
There it is. That's exactly my answer.
Really? Yeah.
That's exactly my answer. I think it's Sean Lee. If we're talking about surprise cut, and we're talking about Luke Gifford coming through the door, we're talking about Francis Bernard coming through the door and everything.
Yeah,
Sean Lee's my surprise cut.
Francis Bernard gives you everything that Sean Lee gives you. I mean, people like to go with the whole leadership thing, but this roster has a lot of veterans now.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you really need him to be the loudest person in the room anymore?
Nope. Like I said, Sean Lee will for sure be my surprise. I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Sponey?
I'm not with you, Sean Lee, but I hope they don't cut him. I really do. I really hope they don't cut him. I think he's a great leader.
No, absolutely.
No, I'm surprised. I'm saying I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. Don't give me names. I really hope they don't.
Yeah,
no, I mean I kind of agree. I mean I'd like to see him on this team, but
I don't think I think 7 linebackers, guys. I'm sorry. We're too deep at the end. We're too deep at corner. O-line is gonna probably be deep because what La'el Collins is showing us right now.
Right.
We got to go short somewhere, and I think linebacker's gonna be that spot.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of go down and look at like guys with 1 year on their contract and say, well, maybe that could be a surprise, right? I mean, right? So, I mean, Xavier Woods could be a surprise if Donovan Wilson walked through the door, they added a Logan Ryan or different things like that. But at the end of the day, I just look at the numbers game and I look through every single position. And to me, Sean Lee's the one that makes the most sense. Like, if these young guys come through the building, and let's not forget about the Jones kid that we got, right? That they've already said should be a starter in the league last year. I just, I mean, look, I don't know what the numbers are on that. I'm literally shooting off the top of the head right now. I don't know what the numbers will be as far as cutting Lee or keeping him or anything. But we're talking about just a surprise veteran cut.
Mm-hmm.
It would be Sean Lee. I do have a number 2 though. I will go too deep though. I will go too deep.
In the comments.
I don't know what Mendoza put.
Hey, Sean Lee's contract is $4.5 million, so we would get that back 100% if we cut him.
Okay, so Sean Lee's definitely, but I got a number 2. I do have a number 2 though.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a number 2. Again, regarding the surprise factor, I'm gonna go Andy Dalton. If Ben DiNucci does enough, and we know he's tied family-wise to Mike McCarthy, he calls him. What was the player? The Rams quarterback, Mark Bulger. If he does enough, and they only want to carry 2 and not 3, That would be a surprise cut. I don't think it's going to happen, but if we're talking about surprise veteran cut,
Yeah.
Andy Dalton would be one. I don't think they're going to cut him, but no more than I think they'll cut Sean Lee. But I think Sean Lee is in the realm of possibility. Especially, you said how much again? 4.5
5.
all the way back. No dead money.
No debt is 1 year deal. 1 year 4.5.
Sean Lee better show up and show out. As Tony Romo said, it's a meritocracy.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Hey, did you see who Mendoza put in the comments?
No, what do you
Nah.
Oh, he said originally Terrence Crawford, but now J-Lu. Oh, no. J-Lu's already lined up starting at corner, and so far he's got an interception, and nobody's even put pressure on him. And with Anthony Brown starting on the outside, I think J-Lu is locked to be here. I think J-Lu's a lock. The only other, if we're talking about 1 year guys, if somebody was extremely to beat out Xavier Woods by a country mile, if you will, maybe we can talk about Xavier Woods. But I mean, with him showing up and doing things already, I don't know. I think Sean Lee's the guy that we got to pick and kind of look at injury history, not tied to this coaching staff, a free $4.5 million that you get back automatically, and you can keep, the younger guys cheaper to come through and do what he does. And I mean, look, Sean Lee was playing special teams last year. Is he going to play special teams this year? I don't know. It's kind of the things you got to look at in the conglomerate of what it means when you cut these guys and get from 80 to what are we now, 50, 80, 56? Is that what we get to keep now? Is that what it is? 55, 56? What are we going to keep? I forgot.
It's 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the first cut still has to be 53. I think 55 is just for the season.
No, yeah. So
I look into it, but I think that's it.
yeah, Sean Lee. Oh, not the general.
And since you brought that up, it's a good question.
$5 million is a lot of good money, man. It's a lot of. You can really do a lot with $5 million add to what they have right now. If you want to add a player.
What you got, Bluff? You got a question?
That's almost back to my Crawford point I was making before. That's a lot of money for your backup linebacker. You can get a decent linebacker for half that. Malcolm Smith will come back for probably $1 million, $2 million.
I never really understood why they didn't bring Malcolm Smith back anyways for the low. But again, I mean, you got the undrafted kid here, right? See Luke Gifford walk through the door. We can have a Ferrari everywhere. I get it. But man, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, as we talked about, remember Spoony when we went through you could keep 90 if you split up practices, but if you only kept 80, right, you could have everybody together. Man, it was a tough call from 90 to 80. Now imagine sitting here and going from 80 to 55. There's going to be some guys that are left off of this roster where people are going to be like, bruh.
And probably this team is waiting for other teams to cut their roster to see who will become available before they even try, attempt to make any type of trades or whatever. Because as I always call in fantasy football, in free there's a lot of candy out there that you could definitely put in your lineup, or stash away for a rainy day. So there's going to be a lot of guys available, but there's going to be a lot of guys that we like not on this team. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be pretty wild just because of the, the COVID, whatever it is, and how we are. Injuries are going to play out as we get here. What are we, 4 weeks away? I mean, injuries are going to play into some of that, obviously. Let me pivot and ask this question. We've done some late non-signings, right? And we've added some pieces here or there. Do we think there's another ace up the sleeve from the front office? Do we think they're going to, whether it's a signing or a trade, forget waiting to the trade deadline, just as things are constituted over the next couple of weeks, do you think there's a move this front office is willing to go make or do to bring another player into this thing? Or do you think we're going to stay pat and let this thing play out? What do you think?
If we keep hearing all the drop issues that we keep hearing, I think a tight end move will be made. I just can't see us going into the season and Blake Jarwin is our only receiving tight end. That's not smart planning to me, especially when you purposely go get all this depth on defense. You don't start on depth at one of your key offensive positions.
Okay, Spoon, is there the move to be had, or are we staying pat to another injury?
Safety, heavy. You gotta. I keep listen. I'm gonna keep going until they ask somebody.
Nix, why do you even keep asking at this point?
I just said him up. I just said him up.
I'm saying safety all the way, all the way. They have to. You got to get somebody in there if no plays being made or whatever they don't like. Listen, check out Malik Hooker. See what he can do. I mean,
oh yeah.
Listen, we need somebody, a true safety. You know, again, I'm not against Xavier Woods, whatever, but I am willing to go past him already. I'm hope Donovan Wilson takes over, but we need to ask somebody in that secondary.
Right. I mean, Mendoza checked and said, I do, with how Mike McCarthy talks about always getting better and wanting to. I mean, fair enough. Again, shameless plug. Logan Ryan, I'll pound it. Tight end, I mean, as I talked about tight end, y'all keep talking and how y'all kind of talked about it as well. And look, I don't know how much OJ Howard's available. I mean, I don't know how much Njoku's available. But, I mean, if they can be had for inexpensive draft pick, I'm definitely all ears. Add another piece, right? As it pertains to, like, safety, outside of Logan Ryan, I mean, we talked about it a ton and had a very good extent. Malik Hooker, he was kind of available before the draft. Is he still available from the Colts? I know he's got some hip issues. He's had some injuries. Maybe you can go get him. There's an idea for a young guy if you want to kind of go do something. I will say this. How about let me put a bow on it. For the first time in over 10 years, I don't know. Okay? Like, if the Jason Garrett staff was here, I know exactly what's going to happen the rest of the way. And the thing that's exciting about it, as Mendoza on the bottom of the screen says right now, we just don't know. Like, bar none. Adding Everson Griffin wouldn't have happened underneath the old regime. It wouldn't have happened. And so moving forward, the thing that I have to like pivot and kind of change how I look at this team and what my take is when it pertains to this team is who's in charge now at the coaching, at the head coach position. And that, hey, if there's something available, I think they will go do it now. So it's refreshing. And also there's the unknown. They could absolutely not do anything, but on the same token, if they did something, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm like, oh man, they did it again, which is pretty amazing. And I think even without injury, so far in what they have showed us before, before the draft, during the draft, after the draft, even once training camp was starting, something tells me there's probably another move or two that they're going to do. Now, on the Libra scale of how big of a move it is or isn't, I don't know. But I for sure think, as we kind of brought out a couple of different areas that are maybe, I think there's things that are going to happen. I do think there's something there to be had. Now, Norton says, Bluff, we went into the season many times with Jason Garrett. Yeah, we did. But it's a new day. And that's why we can't say the same thing anymore. That's what changes everything. Mendoza, right? The Griffin acquisition has made me double taken now. Concur completely. Exactly. I mean, again, you can go back through the history of Garrett. Once the draft came and went, what big name all of a sudden we went and did or added or made a move for? The only one you can say is maybe Amari Cooper. That was during the season, right? Other than that, it was the Stephen Pias of the world, Band-Aids, whatever the case may be. Norton wants to ask Spoonie, tell me why you think safety is our biggest hole. Is that because we last won with a line, running back, wide receiver, and safety. So you think that's the formula? That was the 90s.
No, well, here's my thing. At the day, it's like we had a story. We had a what you call story time with BJ Nix, explaining the Kansas City Chiefs defense and how they won last year.
Yep.
The middle of the field, your defensive tackle, your linebackers, in that safety in that middle. You need somebody to guard that middle. You want to force the quarterback to get to be uncomfortable and forcing the outside. Let's go back to the old Green Bay, one of Mike McCarthy's best roster. If you look at that defense, what he had I believe it was like a BJ Raji, right? He had his linebacker, he had Clay Mack, he had AJ Hawk, and who was his safety? He had Charles Woodson, and he had HaHa Clinton Dixon. So that middle of the field was covered. That's a point of the safety. For 10 years, I mean, listen, we could go past Darren Woodson, then go to Roy Williams. Barry Trish was solid. But after that, they never really drafted a safety high. They look at it as a safety and just an added piece. A reasonable tandem was Wilcox and Barry Church. That was solid. Wasn't the greatest. But at the end of the day, with this kind of defense you have right now, this is a heavy passing league. Not all the time they're going to get the quarterback. There's going to be a lot of times where that ball will be in the air. You need somebody to attack that ball. We're having guys back there being experimented. Byron Jones at one point. Now we got Xavier Woods. Now we got HaHa, right? But like Bluff said, I haven't heard anything about HaHa. We don't know if it's good. It's a good thing or a bad thing. So that's my concern. This is why I said that the guy number 33. You know, I think he would have made a big difference in that whole secondary. We have a dog, all dogs in every position in the defense except the secondary. Secondary is a question mark. It's a crapshoot. We don't know anything. All we have is pretty much a future in Diggs and maybe Robinson II. Everybody else might not be here for Dallas next year in the following years because they are on one-year contracts. So that's what I want. We need that dog in that safety spot.
Bluff.
I mean, I'm with them. And on top of that, on defense, if you look at every level, you look at the starter, the backup, you have faith that it's a good enough guy to come in and compete.
Right.
DN, D tackle, linebacker with Sean Lee, cornerback, all those guys are good. When you go to safety, if something happened to HaHa or the Woods, does anybody really have faith that Darian Thompson can step in? We like Donovan, but we haven't seen him in extended playing time in a
bullets
game. So if something happened to one of our starters, we're kind of in the dark as to whether the guy behind them can actually compete and give us quality snaps. So for that reason, if you could get another safety and put them in the front and move Woods or HaHa back, or even upgrade the depth right there, that's a good move to make. So I don't blame Spoonie for what he says.
Yeah, I mean, and again, and I brought this down on the Stargang group, on the Stargang page as well. And I showed everybody, and I put it in a list. Teams that attack the middle of the field, and what I mean by that is teams that the majority of their passes were hash marks and in were successful. Kansas City was right there towards the top. Teams that threw the ball to the outside majority of the time didn't do well. Case in point, the Cowboys were one of those teams that did that. Listen to Mike McCarthy, who he just talked about 2 days ago about Blake Jarwin, and said how Blake Jarwin helps him attack the middle of the field and how important that is. So what that means when you flip that to the defensive side of the ball is I need somebody on every level to help me. That's what it means. Exactly. And when I look at Kansas City, who scored a ton of points, but they had Christian Jones at defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we can talk about who else is across the line, but you had a stud there, right? Then you get to the linebacker position, all right? And you had a good enough there. You maybe not a true to life stud, but you had a couple of guys, Hitchens, ex-Cowboy, Wilson, ex-Cowboy. And Hitchens was a beast. He just was. I mean, it just is what I love Hitchens.
Yeah.
I hated that we lost him. Right?
Yeah.
And you go to the next level. Corners matter. I'm not saying that they don't matter. Corners also have the 12th and 13th defender, which are the out of bounds. They had a Mo Claiborne out there, ex-Cowboy. But they had that safety. Actually, they had two safeties, to be honest, because they took Juan Thornhill when we took Tristan Hill right after us. He got hurt the last game of the year. They said a Honey Badger. So they had a guy every level to help. And the one thing when it comes to the Cowboys, I get it. Bend don't break forever. We just haven't had a guy. Look, no matter what you think about Roy Williams, until the horse color thing was fine, right? We just haven't had a guy. Look, and I love Church as well. Rock Chalk Jayhawk again. We were smart to not pay him the $30+ million. He only played for a year. The next year he was gone. But we just haven't had that guy on the third level. We've had guys on the front two levels. We just haven't had a guy on the third level. Our front seven and what we think pass rushing wise should be very good. And I think our corners, look, I'm a big Cheetah Bay guy. Absolutely. And I love the fact that I'm leaving him at corner. And I love what Diggs is going to be in this league as well. I mean, people forget he was a 5-star wide receiver recruit going into Bama and flipped to cornerback, right? So that gives him a little bit more inside knowledge. I mean, never mind the fact that his brother's, Stephon Diggs, one of the top, I'll give him 10, top 10 wide receivers in the league. Top 12 if you want to argue.
Yeah.
But safety-wise, it's still this system should be good. We're waiting for Woods in his tape from Louisiana Tech to walk through that. And one of the things, as my guy Norton says, new scheme, new coach. I love that because I think Woods, we saw Woods and what he did in college, and he should be able to translate that here. I think he gets more opportunities, but we have to see it. So again, and then you look as Bluff said. All right, let's go with Woods. Let's go with Haha. Then behind them, Wilson, which we have a lot of hope in. Thompson is a great special team player, and that's it. Let's be clear. And then you got the undrafted rookie free agent in Kirk. I don't really care if you go get me a bona fide game changer back there. Go get me somebody that's great depth at this point. Bring me something to solidify the safety position because outside of two and maybe a third guy, man, it's tough cookies out there.
And we still don't know if the
I have a plan. I have a legitimate plan. I have a trade plan. There's a certain safety.
No. You let Bluff go first. Wait for you to get your trade plan.
To say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, go ahead, Swoon.
I'm interested.
It's not no Jamal Adams. It's not
okay. All right.
Derwin James. There's a certain guy who's 25 years old. He's been hurt the last 2 years, but he was. They had him tied to Dallas at one point. I believe it was during Gabb's either last year, no, it was the year before last. Keanu Neal. His last year of his contract. He's 25 years old. Hey, why don't we trade you Xavier Woods for him? Or a trade, something like that. Keanu Neal is solid. He's a solid safety. I would go after a guy like that. We have to look at a situation where we see a safety might be a free agent in the next 2 years. It's like the same thing with Carl Joseph with the Raiders. They had ties with us with that one. That's what we need to go at. We need to go somewhere where a team is not trying to have no plan of paying that guy, and to see what he can do for us in that 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to trade Woods for a guy. I mean, he's on last year of his deal. I don't really think that's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'll happen. But I mean, trade him for a deal if you can go get him. Sure. I mean, I would love to see them go do something to add depth. Look, I'm not saying go get again. You don't have to go get a day one starter guy outside of signing a Logan Ryan type, right? But go get somebody to bring in here. And Mendoza, as you bring it up, You know, I've thought about the same thing. Morgan Burnett, who also played with McCarthy,
Man,
he's had issues with injuries, but he's the right kind of guy, if you will, to borrow a term for old Garrett. RKG, he doesn't have to come here and be a day one starter. He's great depth and give you something in the pinch that's not going to cost you a ton of money. Should know the scheme early on and go from there. I mean, I'm kind of, that kind of signing I'm okay with. I don't think it's a Band-Aid. I think it's a smart thing. Like going in and signing like Rashad Jones and expecting him to start right now from the ex-Miami safety is asinine. No different than Morgan Burnett. But bring him in for depth. If we're not going to get a guy that can start over Woods or Wilson at that point, because I think HaHa's penciled in already, get a guy to give you some depth.
once again, Mendoza has a line right into my brain. That was the play I was just about to say. Former Green Bay McCarthy guy. Flexible, can play free or strong. Just all around good player.
Right.
Yeah. And like you said, Logan Ryan's still out there. Even Dre Kirkpatrick. If you don't want to think about moving him to safety, put him in at your fourth or fifth corner, and then we move Worley to safety because he's played extended.
He's played safety. Yeah.
As a starter.
Yeah.
So you still get a better safety, but you replace Worley with a corner, similar stats, 6'2", 4.5 speed, played a lot of good football in this league.
Yeah. I mean, no, as Mendoza says, same wavelength. Yeah. For sure. But I mean, obviously, we're early on in this thing. I mean, there's things to be had, things to be that are going to twist and turn before we get to this first game on Sunday Night Football. But obviously, man, we appreciate y'all. We try to give you a little bit of extra every Tuesday. We go on at 8:00 on Star Gang. If you're not in the group on Facebook, please go join the group, follow the page. We have both on the same token. We kind of do both of them. No, if they cut Lee, they're not bringing in Clay. That's my opinion. Yeah. I'd say from Norton. I think if Lee's gone, he's gone. They're rolling with the young guys is where I'm at. But again, like and follow the page. Absolutely come join the group. Obviously, you're here on YouTube with us. We do the after party show. Just have a good time. We always bring a Bluff City, a Sid, a J Tuck. We always try to bring somebody else in that kind of does the same thing we do, that we appreciate and love what they do as well. And we have a good time. With that being said, Bluff City, let me roll out the red carpet for you again, my friend. Tell the people where they can find you and where you at.
Man, I appreciate the love again, man. Always a pleasure talking football with you guys. Feels like I've been watching Cowboys 24 hours between DallasCowboy.com, going to you guys' page, Sid page, Late Night Hype. Mm-hmm. I just love it, man. And it's all
man, we out here.
Yeah, man, just nonstop Cowboys talk. But if you guys want to find me, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything's Bluff City Cowboys. We also have a podcast called The Cowboy Zone. We normally air every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time on Facebook and YouTube as a simulcast. So if you guys want to talk even more Cowboys football, if the Star Game's not on, come by and check me out, man.
That part. Spoonie.
You guys know to find me. I'm on Twitter, Woody881, and I'm over here, Star Gang. You guys know where I'm at.
Gang. You already know what it is. Man, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. If without y'all, there's no us. Man, we have a good time doing this thing. Again, man, hit my boy Bluff up. He's good to go. Man, you got to get Spoonie on Twitter. Man, Spoonie be wild on Twitter too sometimes. You can see at the bottom of my screen as well, your guy Nick's _ all the way across for Twitter as well. Come follow me. As always, next Tuesday, obviously, we'll be back in with the Cowboys Report with me, Spoonie, and Mary at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, as these practices happen, me and Spoon have to jump on. So hit the notification here. Hit the notification on Facebook when you catch us on Facebook as well. That way you know when we're going on. Salute to everybody that tuned in tonight. Man, we had a good night. Tight end and safety. That's what we're looking for going forward. Tight end